Welcome to the broadcast and live stream of Moonshot Radio. Moonshot Radio is generously sponsored by the PNC Grow Up Great program. And here's your host, Dr. Nivea Torres.
Greetings and welcome to Moonshot Radio, where every moment is an opportunity to learn. I'm your host, Nivea Torres, Executive Director of the Kindergarten Readiness Collaborative, also known as KRC. Our vision is that all children in Indian River County will be ready for kindergarten. We proudly partner with the Moonshot Moment, who is transforming the next generation in Indian River County by having 90% of all students reading on grade level by the third grade. With me today in the studio is Chantai Snellgrove. Chantai is the founder and publisher of Parenting Special Needs magazine. Welcome, Chantai.
Thank you for having me back again. I appreciate it.
We're very excited to have you back. We got a lot of positive feedback from your first appearance here on Moonshot Radio, so we're excited to have you back. Share with our guests a little bit about the magazine itself and the focus of it.
The magazine's focus is to help equip parents or families raising children with special needs. So we cover a lot of topics: education, special education, family life, siblings, relationships, and ways that are going to help them encourage their children and also equip them and also celebrate them.
Oh, absolutely, Chantai. And Chantai, you have a special connection to children with special needs yourself.
I do. And I started the magazine mainly because I have, she's now a 22-year-old daughter with special needs. I have two children, but my youngest has special needs. And I wanted help. And I wanted other people to share and tell me what I needed to do. And so since I couldn't find that, I decided let's start it. So I started it almost 11 years ago.
Wow. We were talking before the show about your own journey and how your own journey really validates and adds legitimacy to what you share with our viewers and our listeners, because they know and understand that you've been through that process as well. You were sharing that some things are trials and tribulations that you went through that you realized later on, not necessarily when you're going through it.
Right. I think some of the things we might talk about today, there's a lot of things that I learned, but I didn't learn them until maybe her last year of school, which, and I'm talking her last year of school was when she was 22. And I would like parents of younger children to learn it sooner so that they can better help their children through the process of special education and in life in general.
Well, thank you for doing that. So we're going to bring up the website.
Okay.
And I just want to, for those who are listening to us, who are not necessarily viewing the show, we'll share the website address. But we want to bring to people's attention some of the areas that you mentioned. There is a tab specifically for parents on the website. And there's also a tab for education and a number of tools and resources, correct?
Right. We have a resource directory. We have free downloads, things that we've created that they can access and download and use. There's lots of therapy, behavior therapy strategies, because we wanted to help parents with their children's behavior. And so there is a wealth of information on there. Siblings, dealing with siblings, there's things that we've talked about there. Relationships with your partner, because that's another thing too with your significant other. That's something that, raising a child with special needs and raising children in general is stressful, but sometimes with special needs children, it's even more, and it can cause a strain, as, I think the numbers indicate, there's a lot of people that have divorce rate is high. So
definitely there are a lot of stressors. I was perusing the website myself, and I know that you can register, for the magazine. You can subscribe to the magazine, and you can get it in your inbox. So I want to encourage all of our viewers and listeners to do that. But one of the things that I found that was, I'm sorry,
I just want to interrupt you and say it is free. Because
it is free.
We made it free. We don't charge for a subscription because we want people to access the information. We want to help them.
And that's important. So make sure viewers and listeners, this is completely free. There are a lot of resources, and you can get this right in your inbox, or you can visit the website as well, right?
Both, yes.
And the website is
Specialneeds.org.
parentingspecialneeds.org. So I was perusing the website, and I found a video, which is one of the many resources that you have. And I want us to focus on that for today's conversation. The video was really the tips that you were sharing with parents on how to prepare for school meetings. Because we're going through that process right now, and it can seem like a very daunting, overwhelming task. So how do you prepare for a school meeting, Chantai?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I had seen something come across a Facebook post where someone was complaining that they were overwhelmed. And I thought, boy, what would I do now looking back for IEP meetings? Because definitely I've had my share of overwhelmed feelings and, concern. So I kind of put together some tips that I thought. And I thought the biggest thing is, one, I think parents need to kind of what I call a brain dump. And they have to kind of dismantle their anxiety by writing down some of their concerns. And I think once they get it written down, that helps a little bit. And then to also think of themselves before the meeting. And I think this is something that parents need to be aware of at all ages, is that I kind of say it in the video that you're referring to, as that you're the momager. And that's kind of like a mom and a manager. And I don't think we think of ourselves that way, but we need to, because we're with our children longer than anyone else. And we go into, I'll speak for myself, we go into these IEP meetings and we sit down, and I think we think they're going to tell us what to do, and they think we're going to tell them what to do, and therefore things get done, but not necessarily always to benefit our children in the best way. I mean, I think they benefit our children, don't get me wrong, but I think might not be as consistent and effective as we could be.
So we're sort of becoming an advocate, a spokesperson for our child in a positive way.
In a positive way.
Very positive way.
And I kind of say that momager because I use that image of Kris Kardashian, because people either like her, they don't like her, but nobody can deny she's a great momager. She manages her kids, and they're very successful. And I think we have to shift our thinking from rather being like maybe not everyone feels this way, but I hear it a lot where they're kind of like the deep sighs, the poor mom. But I think we have to think of ourselves as, hey, we're the momagers of our children's special education. And if we can kind of get that in our mind and pull in the necessary help that we need, I mean, I'm sure if you look at Kris Kardashian, she doesn't do everything herself, right? She has people that help her. And granted, she has money, so I'm not referring to the fact that she can pay a lot of money to help people out. But there's people like mentors that are maybe a couple stages ahead of you that would be willing to help. There's therapists, there's other people that would be willing to kind of assist and help you on, through this journey.
You should really make sure that you tap into all those resources that you have available to you.
Yes,
is what you're saying.
And yes, and I think what I'm saying too, and maybe went around the bush to get there, was that they kind of have to assemble a team. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I need my support team, because this is very overwhelming.
Right. And I think we don't think that most of us don't realize at the younger age, when our kids are younger, that that's something that we need to do. But I'd like to say here and now, it's okay. And you do. And you need these people. And, of course, not everybody's going to be on your team. You'll have to pick, I say recruit a winning team. But, you need to kind of get people to help you, because there's a lot to it. And there's things that you don't know because you haven't been there yet.
Exactly. Now, Chantai, you also talk about partnerships, and that we should build partnerships with the school. So how can I see the school as a partner, and how can I foster that level of trust that ultimately we need to all be helping my child?
Right. And there's a couple of things in the same video that you're referring to that I talk about, like I say, think of the IEP meeting as a team huddle.
And when we talk about IEP, just for our viewers and listeners, I know it's an educational acronym, but what does that mean?
Okay, I'm sorry. An individual education plan.
Okay.
And what I also want to say about an individual education plan for parents that need to know is that it is a legal document. So if you think of it like that, it's a legal document that you are signing and the school is signing, and that's held up by law. And it also can be that if you think about it, it's a legal document that you guys are going to work together to educate your child. I mean, I don't think we think of it like that, but we need to. It's huge. Like, you wouldn't just go buy a car and not like read necessarily the fine print or anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this is something that everyone needs to know. They have a legal document to help educate the child. Other people don't have that. Typical kids don't have that. So it's something that I think we should understand and make sure we use. That being said, I think you also need to think of the IEP team, the school, as partners. And I mentioned that Russell Wilson is a famous quarterback, and I heard something that he said one time, and I thought, I love that. He was like, every time he goes into a team huddle, he has 10 guys from different backgrounds and then all diverse, but they're all there for one reason, to win the game. And I think that's how we should think about it. It's a team huddle. We're all getting together to talk and figure out what is the best strategy to help educate our child, and make them succeed. I mean, that's what we want ultimately, right? We want our children to be the best they can possibly be.
And I think that's the best approach, really, to see that this is a partnership and that we're all equally committed to helping my child.
Right.
Chantai, we're going to take a break to hear from our sponsors, and we will be right back.
At the Kindergarten Readiness Collaborative, our vision is for every parent, regardless of income or zip code, to have the knowledge and tools they need to raise healthy children that are prepared for kindergarten. Our mission is to support our partners in developing a high-quality early childhood system that is family-centered. Our outreach and parent engagement specialists connect with families and build trusted relationships. KRC has chosen Fellsmere and Gifford as our two focus areas in Indian River County. Our Fellsmere office is located downtown in the city annex, and our new Gifford office is located within Victory Park Apartments. Our administrative offices are now located adjacent to Healthy Start and Treasure Coast Community Health in Vero Beach. The Kindergarten Readiness Collaborative, developing a high-quality early childhood system for all children in Indian River County.
Everyday activities are great for finding moments for talking and teaching new words. Babies' brains grow 80% in the first 18 months of life. As parents and your baby's first teacher, you can help build their brain with language and literacy skills. Involve the whole family. Ask questions. The more words babies hear, the larger their vocabulary can grow. Support early childhood education by talking, reading, singing, and family engagement. This message has been brought to you by PNC Grow Up Great and the Florida Grade Level Reading Campaign.
The Cataract Institute at New Vision Eye Center offers the most advanced technology available for patients with cataracts. Gentle, bladeless, computer-guided cataract removal. Our advanced laser system is designed to deliver the best visual results with unsurpassed accuracy and efficiency. No two eyes are the same, not even yours. That's why we use the very own image-guided system to obtain a fingerprint of your eye before your cataract procedure. Doctors Minotti and Tate offer the safest and most efficient technique for cataract removal and permanent intraocular lens implant. Patients are personally counseled on the best approach for their needs and lifestyle. There are multifocal lenses that allow for distance vision and reading, or toric lenses to correct astigmatism. Call New Vision Eye Center for a consultation or second opinion. Your eyesight deserves world-class eye care. Visit newvisioneyecenter.com or call 772-257-8700. That's New Vision Eye Center in Vero Beach.
This year, let the professionals at Premier Landscape Solutions enhance your property's curb appeal. Our expert design team can help turn your tired landscaping into the perfect backyard and create a customized care plan that will keep your property looking great year-round. 772-925-0030. Visit our website at verobeachlandscaping.com. From bare bones to beautiful, let us transform your space today.
We don't make excuses, we make results. Premier Landscape Solutions.
Waves Auto Spa, known as Vero's fastest and finest. A car wash known for their quality equipment and attention to detail by a friendly and courteous staff. Waves offers soft cloth technology, and a top-notch detail center will help preserve the value of your car. Waves now offers windshield chip repair, and in most cases, it doesn't cost you a dime. Spend less time and get a better quality experience for you and your car at Waves Auto Spa, US 1 Vero Beach, across from Kmart Plaza. Open 7 days a week.
We're back to Moonshot Radio, where every moment is an opportunity to learn. I'm your host, Nivea Torres, Executive Director of KARC. And with me today in the studio is Chantai Snellgrove from Parenting Special Needs Magazine. Welcome back, Chantai.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for this wonderful, completely free online resource for parents of children with special needs. It really makes a difference.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We were talking during our first segment about the magazine itself and all the online resources. The web address is parentingspecialneeds.org. And we want to make sure that everybody goes and they subscribe to the magazine. It comes right in their inbox, correct?
Correct.
So our topic today is really talking about those school meetings that can be very stressful and very challenging for parents. Let's talk a little bit about any documents that parents should have on hand that they should prepare for the meeting.
Well, I think definitely if their child has not had an evaluation, they need to request that. And I know that that's scary in itself, and we don't necessarily want to hear anything that might not be perfect with our child. However, I think if we get those evaluations and we know where our child is struggling, that only helps us when we create the IEP plan. You know, it will help us have a starting point, and you need to have a starting point in order to know where you want your child to end up, meaning what do we want them to achieve this year. And that's another thing. I think IEPs, parents have to remember that they're only for 1 year.
Okay.
You know, it's not for, like, I know I used to think of it as like, oh, I got that done. And it's like, you know, well, we're all working towards the same thing, but it is only for 1 year. That contract is only for 1 year with an IEP. So what goals do you want your child to achieve in that 1 year?
Oh, and then we have to meet again and then set some new goals, correct?
Right. And the other part of that is also, you might have new teachers, you might have new therapists, you might have so you want to make sure, like, hey, because if you said something in one meeting thinking that those people are going to be with you for the next couple of years and it ends up that they're not, it might not have stayed with the IEP. It might not have been remembered. You need to make sure this stuff is written down, as well as you want everyone to know what we're working towards and what you're working towards to get your child to meet specific goals.
Let's talk a little bit about evaluation, because like you said, it can be a word that is a little intimidating, a little scary for some folks. But like you said, this is sort of like an initial screening of where your child is. So what we're saying is there might be some concerns or some things that you as a mom or as a dad, maybe a grandparent, has observed.
Right.
And you just want to dive deeper to see what the issue might be.
Right. And I think you need the evaluations because they will help you, like I said, know where your child might be struggling or where they might have some weaknesses. But that is so that you can then help them move forward. You have to know where they're at in order to help them achieve different things. And I think that is the biggest thing. None of us want to hear anything that's not positive about our child. But if we realize that this is only going to help our children, it helps everyone see where they're at on a where they're beginning from, so that we can see where we need to progress them to. Then it helps the teachers as well as the parents. They know that, okay, and that doesn't mean that they will, if they get the early intervention, the sooner that they get it, these children strive and thrive. And I think we can't put limits on them, because I hear from some parents that are, they have older children now. And it's, if you would have ever told me when my daughter was little, I'll speak for myself, that she would be doing what she's doing now, I would have never thought that, because I just felt, I was so overwhelmed. But they surprise us. And that's what we have to be open to, that you can't put limits on them, because we don't know what their full potential is. We have to help them reach it.
And the sooner that we know, we're able to address what the issue might be. So this is truly a partnership.
Yes.
There's a battery of professionals at the school that can really part of our team, as you described in the first segment. This is really our team. We're working together. And it might be a vision issue. It might be a hearing issue. Right. We don't know what the issue is, but until we do this assessment, this evaluation, we really won't know.
Right. And parents have to consent for it. They have to give their approval or nothing can be done. And then it takes a little time for the schools to put it in place and make it happen. So the sooner that they do give consent, the earlier things can begin to take shape.
To happen. Now, one of the things you also share in your video about school meetings is having realistic expectations. What do you mean by that, Chantai?
Well, I think I think parents, I'll use myself for example, I want her to be able to read, so, and maybe I said that when she was in second grade, like, she's not reading, I want her to be able to read. So that might have been my goal. When in reality, maybe I should have been, she needs to learn her sight words. We need to start where, and that goes back to, again, where is she now? If she doesn't know her sight words, how can I expect her to, and she's struggling learning the sight words and the next steps of reading. How can I expect her to read on grade level, if we're already, halfway through the year? You know what I mean? Like, we have to be realistic about where our child is at and how we can help them accomplish that, or get them to where they want to be by the end of the year, or where we want them to be. But we have to be realistic. And we also have to realize the time frame within school, because, school is really only 10 months, breaks down to, 6 hours of education, and then 360 minutes a day, that's broken up into different things. But we also know, I know for myself, some days my daughter's on, some days she's off. So it might take us an hour and a half just to get out of the house. Well, if you look at that as that happens in school too, they're not going to always be 100% themselves. We have to think realistically of what all can be achieved in the day. And I'm not saying that to lower expectations. Of course not. I think we need to have higher expectations for our kids with special needs. I think we need to expect more of them, and then I think they'll rise more to the occasion. But we need to be realistic about what we can expect in a year.
In a year to accomplish. And these are all concrete, wonderful tips that you've shared with us, Chantai. But in the end, what truly matters? What should parents be focusing on?
I think they need to focus on that their children are gifts, and they teach us how to be better people. And, that we need to celebrate our children and not just let all of the overwhelm and anxiety feelings that are put on us to help these children take away. That there has to be a time and a place. It's as they say, it's a journey, not a race, so it's okay to take a deep breath and, exhale, and not everything can be done at once. You have to choose your battles just like you do with your children. You have to choose, okay, we can do this right now, but I think it's okay to balance it and assemble your team and know you got this.
Well, that's truly valuable advice for someone who has lived it, who has gone through it.
Still living it.
It's still living it, still going through it. But like you said, it's really a journey. It's not a race. Let's have realistic expectations, but ultimately let us celebrate and enjoy our children, because I think that sometimes we expect too much too soon.
Right.
And we forget about the building blocks.
Right.
Because you mentioned there's steps before you actually read, you need to know the sight word. So they're building blocks to get us to that process. So we want to mention the website before we sign off, parentingspecialneeds.org.
Yes.
Please go and subscribe to the magazine. There are a lot of resources. I love the videos that you have. Thank you so much for this wonderful resource for our families. And hopefully you will be back with another topic. Thank you, Chantai.
Thank you so much for having me.
And until next time, this is Moonshot Radio, where every moment is an opportunity to learn.